Hey guys, Thunder E here, and yes, the title of the video is very simple. Captain America Civil War versus Batman v Superman, which is the better movie? Now, a lot of people have, of course, a lot of comments about this. We know very well that Captain America Civil War is currently sitting at a 90 percentile rating in Rotten Tomato, and Batman v Superman is sitting at a 29 percentile rating on Rotten Tomato. But I don't think that's an indication of the movie at all. As you guys know, I enjoyed both of those movies thoroughly, and I'm here to give you my thoughts on what I think is the better or most enjoyable movie out of both of them. All right, guys, don't forget, this is a spoiler video. So Batman v Superman, of course, is one of the most hotly anticipated movies of 2016. It came out, it got bashed by critics. I still absolutely loved it. And I'll tell you what I liked in the movie, what I loved, what I didn't like, and then we'll go from there and compare. So starting off, I love the whole premise. I love the idea that the world feared Superman. I loved it because it was a semi-realistic take in a sense, because yes, if a guy showed up who could fly and was that powerful, yes, I would be afraid. Even though he's still doing good stuff, I still would be afraid because there's collateral damage. There's also the fact that yes, he is that powerful. So I enjoyed that aspect in the movie, carrying over from Man of Steel into Batman v Superman. I also enjoyed the fact that Batman was afraid. This is an older Batman. This is someone who's been through the trenches. And of course, he is tired. So I didn't mind him killing people. To me, that was actually logical with this storyline. Now, the things I absolutely loved, the fight between Batman and Superman was fantastic, because when you bring Superman down to Batman's level, Batman is a way better fighter. Just hand-to-hand combat, he is better than Clark Kent. It's that simple. So I enjoyed seeing that, and I love the fact that it was a bit beat down, and Batman got the upper hand. I'm a Superman fan first. That is my first superhero that I love, but I enjoyed seeing that. Another thing I also enjoyed was Wonder Woman in the movie. Yes, she was sporadic, she was small, but when she showed up, it was glorious. She's one of my favorite comic book characters, so seeing her in there was great. I also like Ben Affleck as Batman. I'll say fantastic, the best. What I also liked also is Lex as the villain. Why? Because he had a lot of motivation in this. He was a layered villain. He had one of the most layered dialogues in this movie, and that's what I liked about him in this movie. Yes, his interpretation of Lex is not my favorite Lex, but it's not also the worst. I actually like it. It's just not my best version of Lex. But I like the fact that everything he said had a double meaning, almost very layered, very contoured. One thing I enjoyed from Lex is that he did not want anyone to be above him. He didn't like control. You saw it from the beginning with the senator, when he was feeding him Jolly Ranch, when he killed the other senator, when he was feeding her, when he gave her the peach tea and then blew her up in the Senate. Also the fact that he thought of Superman as a god that wasn't real, or at least wasn't true, because his statement said God can either be good or all powerful. You got to choose one. So I like that fact that Lex was a layered villain in terms of thought process for me. Now, things I didn't like in the movie, some of the editing, yes, was choppy, and you could tell why, because this was a 3-hour cut originally, and down to, of course, 2 hours 30 minutes. The editing, I didn't like it. I could still follow it, but I didn't like the way the editing was. I also didn't like the lack of action, I would say, for a Zack Snyder movie. For me personally, I wanted to see more, at least more sporadically placed. What we got instead was Superman doing acts of heroism in the middle of the movie, where we saw him pulling the tank, saving the lady, the girl from fire, doing all those different things, saving the people in the flood, but we didn't get action sequences. I wanted to see more from Batman early and Superman early, or maybe even an earlier tussle to add more to that. And also felt that the last final fight felt rushed. Even though I enjoyed it, but it didn't add as much weight as I would have liked towards the end with that fight. Now, the things that I absolutely didn't like is the fact that I didn't get a 3-hour cut in that movie. But like I said, I absolutely enjoyed it all the way through, and it has its faults. It's a really good movie for me. And let's move on to Civil War, which is the third movie in the Captain America franchise. Fantastic movie. I loved it through and through, and I'll talk about the things I love. First of all, the new character introductions. I have to say this, well, I was not a big fan of having the younger Spider-Man, but I was sold. The best interpretation of Spider-Man in terms of humor, in terms of physique, the way he talks, in terms of just yapping his mouth. The whole sequence of having Spider-Man in that movie, I'll put it this way, if Spider-Man was not in this movie, Captain America Civil War, it would not be as good. As much as all the characters were great in it would not. Spider-Man really brought everything together. So I'm surprised that they were writing on finalizing that deal to get it, but it actually came through. Another one, of course, is Black Panther. I love the fact that he came in. He was strong. He was regal. You know, there was a fear he might be, of course, a Tony Stark, an African Tony Stark, but he came off as the African king. He was a prince. He took the mantle, and he was fierce. I loved his fighting style. I loved the way he did things. Also, I love the action sequences in the movie. The hand-to-hand combat action sequences were great. They did a very good job there. I also love the fact that all the fights, felt, just felt fluid overall. Everyone fighting left and right. So for me, I absolutely love that. The dialogue was good in the movie, but one of the things, that I'm not a big fan of is, of course, over-explaining things, which they tend to do in Marvel movies. So that's really just their thing, anything else. Now, things I didn't like were the villain. Baron Zemo was a waste, Helmut Zemo, Colonel Helmut Zemo, he's not Baron yet, was a complete waste of villain, just because I get his motivation, but his motivation, of course, is similar to, as a villain, he wants to destroy the heroes, just like Alex did, but it just didn't have that much weight to me, for instance, especially when you found out, he's this lowly guy who was able to manipulate the Avengers and the US government and the UN. To me, I didn't buy it. I just didn't buy that part at all. And also towards the end, the last fight with Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man, yes, it was a great fight scene. I absolutely loved it, but I just didn't buy that final fight. I didn't buy the motivation. Why? Very simple. Zemo basically showed Iron Man that yes, Bucky killed his parents, but we also know for a very clear fact that Bucky's brain was wiped. So I get Iron Man being pissed, but not pissed to kill him. That's something where you really want to take him out, but knock him out, maybe rip out his hands, but not want to kill him. So I just didn't buy the full extent of the anger, especially when you know that this guy has been controlled for a very long time. So for me, I didn't buy that much. I enjoyed the fight, I definitely did, but I didn't buy that in there. Also, I didn't like some of the accents in the movie. Scarlet Witch's accent was terrible. She's a good actress, but she could not do a semi-Russian or Eastern European accent at all. It just didn't work for me on that basis. Now, looking at both films together, though, I have to say, though, when you pair action sequences in both movies, I'll give the upper hand to Captain America Civil War. They had more action set pieces altogether, from the chase at the beginning all the way to the last fight scene. So you kind of move from action sequence to action sequence there. I think the better action sequence is Batman fighting the thugs. I think that is still the best comic book action sequence of the year, but I think overall there were just more in Captain America Civil War, especially seeing Spider-Man in action really went a long way. When it comes to story elements, in terms of motivation, I actually prefer Batman v Superman's motivation anyway, at least Batman's motivation of fighting Superman, because I think the fear of Superman is much higher than the fear of the Avengers. To me, it was all about fear. The Civil War fight started with fear, and yes, that is true, but the power levels of the Avengers are not that scary. I mean, things that happened, you could see the low numbers that showed up. It was 174 was the highest in Sokovia. In Batman v Superman, 5,000 people died in Metropolis alone, like just straight up. Probably more, but it's lowball numbers. So the fear of Superman was so great that I can see, especially in the older way, Batman saying, I need to take this guy out. I get that aspect there. In terms of villains, Lex is much better again than Zemo, just because his plan, I think at least he was able to manipulate both superheroes, and also you can see his motivation. Zemo, yes, his family was killed, but he had no greater plan other than just pure revenge, which is fine, but didn't help the story at all in Captain America Civil War. In terms of new introductions, Wonder Woman was great, but I'll have to give it to Captain America Civil War. They introduced Black Panther and Spider-Man very well. It was well done, it felt organic, and even though Wonder Woman was sprinkled in, and I absolutely loved seeing her on screen, she is my third most favorite superhero after Superman and Batman. But seeing Spider-Man and Black Panther in and how it was done was just fantastic overall. So, which movie do I think is the better, or do I actually prefer? I'll give the slight edge to Captain America Civil War. Yeah, I know it. I absolutely love BVS, but I'm saying Captain America Civil War here. Well, like I said, overall, there was more action for me in Captain America Civil War, even though I didn't buy some of the motivation, especially with the villain there in the movie. I still think that movie had more of what the general audience would like, in a sense. Like it was more fun and entertaining in terms of just pure entertainment, while Batman v Superman was a different tale in terms of a more somber look at how drastic it is. For me, I like that look where, yes, you're looking at Superman, you're going, crap, we are screwed, you know? But then you have Captain America Civil War, it's more politics and politicking left and right, where people are leaving the theater and going, I think Cap was right, and you know, Iron Man was right, and for me, yeah, Captain America was right. That was all this bogus, man. Look, you gotta save people, go save people. That's just how I see it. Things will happen. That's what happens in life in general. Iron Man just keeps projecting. But like I said, Captain America Civil War is the movie I pick. I know. But only by a slight edge, because I think BVS is just as good. So anyway, guys, your thoughts, your comments. Give me your breakdown. Don't just tell me that you think this one is just better because, yes, Marvel is better. I don't want to hear that. I want you to give me a breakdown exactly why you think either BVS is better, what are your motivations, or why you think Captain America Civil War is better. Give me that breakdown. I want to hear it. I'd love to hear it from you guys. So thank you very much for watching this video. I want to hear your thoughts. I can't wait for this discussion. I'll join you in the chat. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner of the screen or down in the description below. This is Thunder E saying thank you and always enjoy your entertainment.